Hello and welcome back to TriggerSmart. So today we're actually going to be covering knife fighting. And again, I brought back Aaron Cerrone with Mid-American Martial Arts. And what are we covering today?
How you doing, man? Yeah, we're gonna, knife fighting is probably a strong term. We're gonna cover some knife basics on how to use a knife. We all have knives in our house, right?
Yep.
And I know TriggerSmart is all about firearms and weapon use. However, sometimes we don't get to it, right? Sometimes we don't carry it on us while we're sleeping. We don't walk around the house with it on our hip. We try to keep them strategically placed so that they're in arm's reach at all the time. But hey, we all have kitchen knives. We all have cooking knives.
Pocket knives. Many people carry pocket knives.
So we should probably learn how to use them and use them in a way to defend ourselves. And that's the goal. So first things first, a lot of people ask me, hey, what do you train with? What type of blades do you train with? What type of training implements do you trade with? There's all kinds out there. What I would say is train with something that you're going to use on a daily basis. Just like whatever you're going to carry, you should probably fire the most with, right? We understand that. So same thing with a blade. Whatever you're going to carry, you should probably train with one exception. When you're first learning, you'll generally use an oversized blade. And what I mean by that is something large like this. Now, generally, nobody's going to carry something this big on them, unless you got a K-bar strapped to the side of you, which, hey, a K-bar is menacing in itself. If that comes out, they're probably going to hit the road. But what this does for us is it gives us an oversized implement to learn the basic movements, and especially when you're first learning things like disarms, it's a larger lever to learn how to disarm, vice a smaller, more compact type of training blade like this, right? So this is closer to what you would probably carry, but now it's tighter, it's smaller, it's a little bit harder to use and harder to disarm, right? So we always kind of start out large and then slowly work to a smaller blade. Now, as you get better, you'll eventually start to train with a folder, okay? So we can learn now how to pull from the side and deploy the blade while trying to use it, right? So a basic folder, it's just a blunt piece of steel, and then learn how to deploy and use the knife as well. So what I would say is always start large, work to smaller, work to something you're going to probably carry, and then learn to pull it just like you would if whatever you're going to carry, whatever type of holster. If you're going to carry it in your pocket, learn to pull from your pocket. If you're going to carry it in your belt, learn to pull from your belt, deploy the knife, and then use it.
These are all training blades?
All of these are, yep.
None of these are sharp. They are very, very dull.
Very, very dull. Now, the other thing, too, I would say is depending where you're training, like this blade here is a metal blade. When you're training with metal blades, if they fall on your feet, they do hurt. If they hit the mat, sometimes we'll poke holes in the mat. So that's why I prefer that the plastic rounded edge blades are lighter and they don't damage anything. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna have some basic stance and how to hold the knife. Now, a lot of times you'll see knife sometimes being held in the upward, more traditional position we call a heaven grip. Sometimes you hear it, you'll see it tip down in more of what we call an earth grip or a hooking grip. Which is better? One looks cool in the movies, one not so cool. Really, it's whatever your preference is. It's just like a firearm. What's your preference? Do you like iron sights? Do you like a red dot? What type of grip do you like? Same thing with a knife. You want to find something that feels good in your hand, that's weighted well, okay? And at the same time, you want to learn to use it in an upward tip up and a tip down grip because they have different applications. No one is better than the other. It's really what your preference is. So we're going to do a traditional tip-up grip, okay? General rule of thumb now, this training blade, again, it looks like a double-edged blade. Most people don't carry a double-edged blade. So we'll just consider this as having a single-edged blade. The cutting edge is always where my little knuckles are. Now, why is that important? Because I always want to understand where my cutting edge is. So as I move the blade around, I understand the cutting edge is always facing away from me, facing my opponent and giving me optimal opportunity to cut them and not myself. Okay, so the little knuckles would generally always follow the cutting edge. Same way if I was in an earth grip or downward grip, the little knuckles are always following the cutting edge. Okay, now as far as stance, we're gonna take what looks like a fencer's stance. Okay, so whatever hand I have my blade in, that foot's going to be front. Now why? Because I want the length, I want the mobility, I want my limbs out of harm's way, out of the path of the blade. So I'm going to keep my free hand tight, what we call my checking hand, defending my vitals. The blade, I'm going to think of it like a flashlight, okay? I'm keeping the flashlight on my target. I'm keeping the tip of the blade on my target. I'm keeping it tight against my body. I don't want it out in space where my own limb, right, could be in harm's way from their knife or their weapon, whatever it happens to be. Plus, I don't want the knife out to where it could get taken and disarmed. So I'm keeping the knife tight against my body. My elbows are in tight. My lead hand and lead leg are front in a traditional fencer stance, right? So I can move in and I can move out quickly. A lot of Kung Fu styles will have the strong arm front, right? Fencing, whatever hand is front. And I'm not going to be like a fencer like this. I'm going to be in tight, okay? Again, tip of the blade pointed on my subject, elbow in tight, my basic stance. We're going to go over 5 basic strokes. Are there more than that? Yeah, absolutely. But let's just talk about the basics, okay? So basic stroking pattern. It's not a big swing like you'll see in the movies in a lot of cases. I want to be compact. I want to be efficient. So the knife is going to travel like in a circular elliptical motion. It's going to come out, it's going to cut, and then come right back to where it started. I'm not winding up. I'm not hitting and dropping. I'm getting to my target and back to my starting position as fast as possible. So it's a circular motion. So our first angle, we call our angle 1, is just a forehand slash, right? My target is this sector of the body. If I look at the body in terms of sectors, I have this upper sector, this lower sector, and this lower sector. 1, 2, 3, 4 sectors. Okay, so I'm slashing in that sector. If you need a reference point, just think the neck, collarbone area. I'm slashing to the neck. Okay, angle 2 is my backhand slash to the neck. Notice how I have to turn the blade because I want the cutting edge moving towards my target. Notice the little knuckles again are leading the way. So angle 1, forehand slash. Angle 2, backhand slash. And again, notice it's not slash in an over-exaggerated movie type of way. Very efficient, circle and back. Circle and back. My angle 3 is my flat line forehand. Angle 4 is my backhand on the flat line. And angle 5 is my thrust. Okay, notice how the knife, no matter what angle I'm doing, it moves out and comes right back. I'm not swinging and overcommitting to now where I'm out of position and knife's out of position. I want it out and back in case it needs to come back. Okay, so again, a basic flow. Angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4, angle 5 is the thrust. We just went through our basic 5 angles. We're going to do the same thing, but now with just an inverted grip. So again, being cognizant of where my cutting edge is, always follow the little knuckles. Again, I'm going to keep the knife in tight, not away from my body, in tight. So now as I'm going through my basic angles, I have to understand how I need to turn and angle the blade. So if I'm slashing in that number 1 angle, I need to turn the blade up and allow myself to come out, letting the small knuckles lead the way. Okay, notice the angle of my arm and my hand. When I have the tip up grip, I'm able to reach out a little bit easier. Okay, so the tip up grip tends to work better for slashing in my opinion, right? But you can definitely slash with the tip down, right? So angle 1, still that forehand slash. Angle 2, now I have to turn it to get that backhand slash in that upper region. Angle 3 is a low line. Angle 4, again, I have to flip now the hand so I can get the cutting edge. And my thrust now, boom, is coming away from my body. Again, definitely thrusting is much longer with the tip up grip, vice the tip down grip. The thrust isn't as efficient in a linear fashion now. I can now thrust in the stabbing fashion probably a little bit better, okay? So again, now, tip down grip. Angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4, and angle 5 is my thrust. Okay, now I encourage you, practice both tip up and tip down to find out which one feels best and works best for you. Also practice left-handed as well. Okay, you never know which hand you're going to have to use or which hand is able to grab the knife, right? So you always want to be as efficient with the left as the right, okay? So work both hands. Just like shooting, you want to learn to shoot with left and right hand because you never know, okay? Shoot two hands, shoot single-handed, whatever happens to be. Same thing with a knife. Work both sides of your body. It's just great education for your body and your body mechanics as well. It's good to have that left and right brain fight once in a while to work both sides. So I'm gonna have Matt come out here now real quick. So you now have some reference point as to what I meant by the sectors, right? So if Matt just puts his arms out, we can see my upper sector on the left and right side of the body, my lower sector on the left and right side of the body. So now, if I'm gonna do the basic, again, tip up grip, if I do my angle 1, I'm just coming to this upper sector, slashing and coming right back. Notice I'm not slashing and overcommitting. I'm getting out and back, ready to go again, because I might have to come out and back and follow it with a thrust. So my forehand, angle 1, my backhand, angle 2, my forehand, angle 3, my backhand, angle 4, and then my thrust. And again, the thrust can be low, the thrust can be high. It doesn't really matter, okay? Anything in this sector, we're considering an angle 1, right? It could be a thrust, right, in angle 1 as well.
Now, can you also tell them why you don't want to overcommit to a big slash?
Well, for a couple of reasons. One, if I go to overcommit and he just leans back a little and I miss, now I'm out of position, okay, as well. Now, also, if he has his own knife and I miss, now here comes his cut as well, okay? A lot of times if you overcommit, and now I stumble and I'm out of position. And my ability to return is that much harder. So I want to be able to be under control, and now I can return or come back with a second motion as faster or as fast as I can, right? And I'm in a defensive position immediately. I come out and I get right back. I'm still in a defensive position in case his knife comes or his punch comes, whatever it happens to be. Okay, now the beauty of the knife, right, is that the knife is always live, right? Unlike a handgun, I'm not saying one is superior than the other. Personally, in close quarter combat, I'll take a knife every day because I can work very fast with a knife.
You don't run out of bullets.
Anytime the knife is moving, it's cutting. Anytime the knife is touching, it's cutting, especially a good sharp knife, right? I don't have to acquire, aim, hope I hit a vital organ. I'm cutting everything I touch, and the knife is very fast. You've all seen the statistics, or I'm sure you've seen in the news, you know, someone, especially in this sewing machine motion, can stab somebody 20, 30 times in a very short period of time, right? And they're immediately bleeding out. So the knife is a beautiful tool for self-defense, especially and personally in home defense, where it's very close quarter, happens very fast. I can grab a knife and I can immediately start to defend myself.
All right, thanks guys for watching. If you want to see part 2, let us know. We covered the fundamentals today. Part 2, we will cover more advanced techniques and combinations.
Perfect, and just remember, you know, practice makes permanent, right? So always practice with your right hand and your left hand. Start slow, be particular with what you're doing, and as you get comfortable, speed it up.
And as always, like, subscribe, and share to someone who doesn't know what they're doing with a knife. And we'll see you on the next one.